Well, another condition that typically starts during pregnancy is trisomy 18, also known as Edwards syndrome. Now, according to the Trisomy 18 Foundation, this is a genetic mutation caused by an error during cell division.
The foundation says it's similar to Down syndrome, but different in that it's more potentially life-threatening in the early months of life. According to the foundation, trisomy 18 occurs in 1 in every 2,500 pregnancies and in 1 in every 6,000 live births.
50% of babies who are carried to term will be stillborn, and baby boys typically have a higher stillbirth rate than baby girls.
Well, a special baby boy from here on Delmarva was diagnosed with trisomy 18, and unfortunately, just 9 days into his life, he died. But despite that short time, boy, he certainly did leave his mark on this world. And joining us today to tell us about baby Gabriel and his story and how we can help is Gabriel's mom, Tiffany Miller. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. First of all, tell us the story of baby Gabriel.
Gabriel was our third child. And pretty much off the bat, I knew that the pregnancy was a little bit different. I was sicker, I didn't feel as well. It was just very different than the others, but we went along. And the day before I'm calling him baby Gabriel now, the day before Gabriel was born, I told the doctor during the ultrasound, I said, I think that he's smaller than he should be. With my other children, I think I was much larger. And the doctor measured and said, I think you're right. And we did some tests, and the doctor said, don't worry, he's a 10 out of 10 in health. We just need to get him out, feed him, strengthen him up, he'll be fine. And knowing the weight of my other 2 children, I said, well, that's not a problem, let's go, let's get him out. And unfortunately, the next day when he was born, it didn't quite go as planned. And my family's life kind of was shattered.
You noticed things right away.
I did. As soon as they laid Gabe in my arms, I could tell that his hands were palsied. He had, his fingers were pretty much all the same length and they were palsied. And I remember thinking wait a minute, you promised me, you told me 10 out of 10 in health. But then as devastated as I was, I thought cerebral palsy. Okay, he has cerebral palsy. This is doable. And then by the next morning, we were told that he needed life flighted out. So 8 hours later, he was life flighted out. And at that time, we knew that there was a major deficiency with the valves in his heart, as well as he was missing the corpus callosum to his brain.
Wow. Now, this is something that's usually detected in utero, not the case with Gabe.
Correct. For some reason, it just went unnoticed. And, at first, I really wanted to blame someone. Obviously, as a mother, I'm like, why didn't I know? Why wasn't I prepared? Why weren't my children prepared?
Yeah.
But the more I think about 2 years later now, it's 2 years, and I have to think that if God wanted me to know, us to know, he would have let us know. And I have to think that baby boys are usually born stillborn. My baby boy lived for 9 days. Had I had that anxiety inside and known how sick he was, maybe he wouldn't have been with us 9 days.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your children, your other 2 children. How were they through those 9 days?
Scared. They had a lot of questions. My oldest son had a difficult time thinking that God would allow something like this to happen. But now they're wonderful about it. We talk about Gabriel frequently. We pray to him at night. We say things like, wonder what kind of birthday cake he had, or I wonder what he's doing, I wonder if he has friends, and things to really keep the dialogue open so that it's not something that we just shove under the rug. We want to always have Gabriel be a part of our family.
They had a chance to meet him.
They did, and that was a tough decision for my husband and myself.
Yeah.
Because at the time we knew it was terminal. We knew that he was going to die. And so we were torn as to, do you bring these children up and introduce them, and then however many days later he dies, or do you just say, and we had wonderful therapists at DC National, and the therapist said, I think that it would be wonderful if they come up and just meet him. And so they did, and I think I had a lot of hard days, but watching my 4-year-old came around the elevator with his bag that she'd packed, because she packed his hospital bag. And when she came around the elevator and she had that, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I remember my husband saying, you have to breathe, you have to breathe, you have to breathe. And they got to meet him and they kissed all over him and loved on him and yelled at each other and fought over who could touch him and who could hold him. So
And your little girl still talks to him every night?
Every night she prays to him and blows a kiss to him every night.
Oh my goodness.
Now, during this difficult time, you also got some support when you were in the hospital as well from a place to stay.
You had a place to stay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're there, hotels are so expensive. And so a spokeswoman came in, said, we are the Ronald McDonald House, you guys would qualify, would you like to go? And of course yes. So we had a wonderful place to stay every night. The first night I was really apprehensive and I didn't want to leave Gabe because I was terrified that if I left, what would happen, like if he died and I wasn't there. But the staff was so wonderful and they're like, you need to do this. I promise you if anything goes wrong, we'll call you, you won't miss anything. And so it was a remarkable place where Drew and I could go and breathe and like take showers and try to eat and just try to be normal. Maybe turn on the TV for just a minute to see that the real world is going on.
Right.
Because I remember standing in the hospital room and we could see a daycare outside of the window and you could see school buses and bikes and I remember thinking, and Drew agrees, that we would think, wait a minute, what are you doing? The world has ended. Why are you, you forgot. You were stuck in that shell.
Right.
And you forgot that outside life was going on. So the Ronald McDonald House gave us, if even a couple hours, just to kind of breathe and be back to who we were before April 4th.
And there's an organization here that does the same thing.
Yes, there's a remarkable organization out of Ocean City, and it's called Believe in Tomorrow. And what they do is they have a facility for critically ill children. And so what they do is they let you escape from that hospital. And you come to Ocean City and you have a whole week's vacation where all your meals are paid for, your room and board is paid for, you can go to Jolly Rogers, you can take pictures, family pictures on the beach. You get to be normal for the week. And they have all the nurses and everything that you would need, but it's beautiful. And the thing is when you're in this, I mean, the extra money to go on a vacation to some families is just not even thinkable because you have so many expenses and medical bills. And so it's just a beautiful organization, and I love that I can be a part of helping them raise some money.
And we can too.
Yes,
we can
please.
help as well. Okay. A remarkable story, and a little later we're going to hear more from Tiffany about something else that helped her heal, the gift of music.